This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the afternoon show presented by ESEN. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez and Jay McLovin. How's it going, guys?
Going good.
Yeah, man. I'm doing great, man. It's beautiful out here. The Astros are in first place. I can't ask for anything better right now, even though my Dallas Stars lost, but that's okay. Yeah. Astros are kicking butt, so we're doing good. It's a great day.
Astros are playing well. Okay, guys, let's jump into it. We'll just jump into the NBA Finals. Been interesting so far. Touch on game one a little bit, and then game two from last night. We got an even series, 1-1 now. The Pacers won the first game 111-110 in a crazy game, and Oklahoma pretty much dominated the Pacers in game two. So let's go to game one first. Jay, what was your thoughts on game one with the Pacers getting?
Yeah, I mean, they don't call you guys the cardiac kids for nothing. I mean, seriously, like I think I was looking back. I think you guys have had 5 or 6 games that, in all honesty, you guys were cooked. And I don't know how you did it, but you come back. I've heard, and I'm not saying this is me, but some things on Facebook have said that the refs kind of do some things, foul-wise to get you back into it. I'm saying that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying it has been very impressive, the number of times that you guys have come back. And I think game one was a good example of that. I mean, you guys came back at the end of that game and got control of it. I thought Halliburton, and Siakam, they played well, in terms of what they were able to contribute. Your bench scoring and Obi Toppin. I mean, 17 points, 6 of 9, 5 of 8. I mean, you got everything you needed from him off that bench. And I don't know how you guys do it, man. You guys find ways to come back. I mean, the Pacers are the type of team that I swear to God, you got to play a full 48 minutes. You can't play 42, 43, 44 and try to ride it out. You got to play a hard 48 if you want that win over this Pacers team.
Yeah, I agree. Chris, what was your thoughts on game one?
We got off to a terrible start in the first half, turned the ball over 19 times. But after that, we outplayed them. The rest we outplayed them in the second half. But if you look at it, what kept us in the game that gave us a chance to win that was our defense only giving up 9 points in the first half off of those 19 turnovers.
Up 11 total.
That kept it like I'm telling you, Jay. It got to that halftime and we were only down 12. Oh, I was ecstatic. I'm like, this game we should have been down 25-30 at half. That game should have been over with us turning the ball over 19 times. Like,
easily
have been over. I'm like, we played terrible. We're only down by 12. We can still win this game, and we just kept chipping at it. The only time I got a little nervous was there. We had cut it down to 6 at the end of the third. They hit that 3 to make it 9. I'm okay. I was like, okay, we're in single digits going to the fourth. We're in good shape. Well, then like that first couple minutes, they went on that run and got it back to 15. And I got a little worried for it. I was like, oh, well, but then we went on our run and then Halliburton, of course, hit that big shot at the end. But I mean, if you look at it, we out rebounded them that game. The only thing that really held us back in that game one was our turnovers, because we out-rebounded them, we outshot them. It was our turnovers. I mean, honestly, if we didn't turn the ball over 20 times, we might have won that game by 10 points.
I felt like you're right. I felt like, you're right about the defensive side, but I really felt like the big thing for you, and you hit on it, was your rebounding. I mean, you had 3 guys. Siakam had 10. Neesmith had 12, and then Halliburton gave you 10. I mean, those 3 guys alone, and hell, even Turner had 9. I mean, he almost had 10. So, I mean, you guys were crazy rebounding the ball. And I mean, obviously the Thunder came out with that hardcore first half. Like you said, you got off to a slow start. Some of your shots weren't falling, like you said, turnovers and things of that nature. But you guys did take the second half, right? I mean, you got them a little bit in that third quarter, but really it was that fourth quarter where you got that 35 to 25, 10-point advantage on them, which ultimately gave you the win on Halliburton last shot, no less. But man, that rebounding was I think the turnovers was kind of compensated by the rebounding, right? So I mean, it was good. It was good.
And another thing we done a good job of in game one, which we didn't do a good job of in game two, was on Alexander. Yeah, he had 38 points in game one, but it took him 31, 32 shots to get that 38 points.
Sure, absolutely.
Last night he was a lot more efficient. So I thought we done because he's going to get his points, but you got to make him have to take a lot of shots like that to try to get them points, make him inefficient, and we were able to do that in game one. We didn't do that. We didn't do that last night.
Yeah, I think the big key, like you said, Chris, was the defense, especially there in the fourth quarter. I thought Nembhard played great defense on Alexander, kept bothering him. He was also big on the offense, being physical. I think he was physical. I liked what he did. It was a great comeback win. Can't count the Pacers out ever, like Jay said. Let's go to game two. A little bit of a different story, but a big key to this game and game two was the second quarter. We just got demolished in that second quarter. If you look at the third quarter and fourth quarter, we played even with them. But you can't get drilled in the second quarter, and we was I think down 7 even in the first quarter. But we didn't play terrible in the first quarter. But yeah, we just couldn't hit, and we had some decent looks. I mean, their defense played well, and we had some turnovers, but we couldn't hit anything. If you look at our field goal percentages, you can see why we lost the game. It just wasn't. It wasn't what we ended up a little bit better because of the fourth quarter, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, I tell you, you're right. I mean, I think in game one, I think the Thunder, they came out, and they weren't, they just didn't play the full 48. I felt like that fourth quarter, they kind of lit up off the gas a little bit, things like that. I think in game two, I think OKC came out and said, hey, look, man, this game one wasn't who we are. We can play a full 48 minutes, and I think that's what you saw there. I do agree that they did do a good job on Alexander in game one, limiting them. I think Alexander in game two was a little bit more comfortable in terms of what he did. And, the whole team as a collective whole, right? Yeah, Jay Will with 19. One of the things in game one that really surprised me was in game one, the Pacers did 47% shooting. And, when you look at what Oklahoma City did, it was 39.7. And yet they only lost by 1 point, even though they shot the ball not as good as the Pacers. And that was one thing as well I wanted to point out. And number two, I think that game two was kind of like, okay, all right, Pacers gave us their best shot. They got us by 1. We didn't play the full 40. I felt like game two was like that revenge game. Like, okay, let's go out here and set our own tone, because they know they got to go to Indiana. And you can't go to Indiana down 0-2. That's just not going to look good for them. So I want to see what happens in game three. Game three is going to be very instrumental to me in terms. You got to realize that I think Pacers are going to come out. They're going to, the Pacers just can't get content. They can't get content. They got to keep, or even OKC can't get content. Neither one of these teams can be content on how game one and how game two went in one of their favors. So I'm curious to see how chippy maybe a game three will be. I got to believe that Oklahoma is going to continue to play that full 48 minutes because they understand exactly how the Pacers play. So I want to see, and I want to see how Halliburton and them respond to this big loss that they took in game two, and how they come back in game three, and it's the first game on their home court. Yeah. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. But game two was incredible. It was really a good game on there. And Chet Holmgren, Chet Holmgren in game one really wasn't there. He went 1 of 9, I think, from the field, maybe 2 of 9 from the field. And I look at this one, and he went 6 of 11 and had 15. I felt like Chet Holmgren did not have a presence in game one, but he did have a presence in game two. And that's really what they're going to require. But you could also say the same thing, for other players on their team that didn't respond. I think Bradley not Bradley, excuse me. I think it was Bradley. Was it Bradley? Yeah, on their bench. You got Johnson. Obi Toppin only had 3 points in 19 minutes, for you guys. So, Obi Toppin's going to have to play a little bit better off that bench, and I think that's going to be a big thing. But then you had McConnell and you had Mathurin. Mathurin had a great game. He had 14 points, 4 and 7, 1 and 2. So it seems like maybe even you have different guys on your bench, Tony and Gonzo, that are stepping up. When OG Toppin wasn't there, you had those two guys stepping up. But
our bench didn't play bad, but their bench outplayed as far as scoring by a little bit. I think that Wiggins was a big key with 18 points in 21 minutes. Also, Williams got back on track, and he's a starter, though, of course, but he got back on track. And then Caruso off the bench had 20. So them two, we got to slow those guys down. And I tell you, I thought it was a big mistake in game one of them changing their lineup. I didn't understand why they changed their lineup. You played a certain way all year long, and then you changed it. And I think that helped us. And now he went back to the bigger lineup. He didn't start that way, but he went back to that bigger lineup throughout that game. And we had troubles with it, and we're going to have to figure that out. We're going to have to get more physical, and we got to figure that out. I'm confident, but I will say this. I think we have to win game 3. I think if we lose game 3, we're in a little bit of trouble. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, to me, the biggest difference in game 2 from game 1, the shooting percentage is basically flipped. We shot almost 48% as a team in game 1. They shot 39%. Game 2, they shot 48% for game 1. It says that we shot 44%, but that was most of that was in the fourth quarter during garbage time. Like we were shooting 30 in the 30s most of that game.
Yep.
So the shooting percentages flipped. We got out rebounded last night. That was a big thing in game 2 was we got out rebounded. And then game 1, Alexander was getting his, but like I said, we made him a little efficient, but we wasn't letting everybody else get theirs.
Yes.
Last night, we was letting everybody get theirs. So our defense wasn't as good as last night in game 1. But I'm not worried. I'm confident going into game 3 tomorrow. The Pacers haven't lost back-to-back games since like back in March.
Same thing with Oklahoma.
And it's the same thing with Oklahoma City. They haven't lost back-to-back games. So we're going back home. We get this win. We put all the pressure right back on OKC because they don't want to go down 3-1. So I mean, if we done our, don't get me wrong, I'd have loved to got win up 2-0.
Oh, yeah.
But we done what we had to do, and that was get one in OKC. And the Pacers haven't played their best game yet. I mean, Pacers have not played a great game. No. We didn't play very good last night. Game 1, we played good in the second. Played pretty good in the second half. First half we didn't play good. So I mean, we haven't even had a guy score 20 points on our team yet in the finals. So I mean,
couple questions, Gonzo. A couple questions. Let me ask you this. First of all, what's up, Joe, and what's up, Anthony? Man, how y'all guys doing? And I want to address in just a second what Anthony's saying. Basically, if you slow down Halliburton, Pacers are not winning. Before we get to that comment, though, I want to ask you guys this. In game 1, you get the win by 1 point. And not New York, I apologize. OKC does 39% shooting. I think that tells me a couple of things. Number one, that defense really does help them because for them to be shooting 39% and only lose by 1 point, and then they come out and they still play good defense, and then they have a 48% shooting night to your 45% shooting night, that tells me a couple of things. I don't know, Gonzo, that if OKC has a good shooting night and follows it up with good defense, if the cardiac kids, and if they do it for 48 minutes, right? You got to do it for 48 minutes because everybody knows you cannot relax on the Pacers. I don't know I've seen it where you guys were down 7-8 points with like a minute something left and you come away with the dub. So how do you respond to the fact that, number one, when they had a bad shooting night, they only lose by 1 point, and then they have a good shooting night with the same D, and they blow you out by almost 20? How do you expect this team to go forward in game 3 and 4, 5, 6, and 7 with those kind of numbers?
Because we haven't played a full 48-minute game yet, and what you're saying about game one, yeah, we only won by 1 point. They only shot 40%, but the reason that we only won by 1 point was because they had like 28 more possessions than we had. They had like 30 more shots at the basket than we had because of our turnovers. So
Right.
you know what I mean? Where if we don't turn the ball over and give them extra possessions, that's what I'm saying. If we wouldn't have turned the ball over the way we shot the ball that game, we might have been able to win by like 10 points in that game. But with all the turnovers, they got all those extra possessions. That's more shots, more chances for them to score. And that's what we battled there. But like you said, we haven't played our best game yet. We play a full 48-minute game where the Pacers are capable of. I think we're right there. So that's why I'm still confident. We haven't played at home yet either. So, like I said, we'll see tomorrow. But it's like I thought it was going to be a good series, and it's been a real good Wednesday. It's been a real good series so far, and I haven't lost any confidence yet. Halliburton has to be a little more aggressive trying to score the ball, and then Siakam usually is good for at least 20 a night. I expect him to have a big game Wednesday night as well, coming back home.
Yeah, he was.
Siakam was off last night. He didn't have a great game. And it don't happen too often that both of them have a bad game. Usually, if Halliburton starting out slow, usually Siakam is the guy our offense goes through. But last night, early, Siakam was starting to dominate. And then for some reason, that second quarter, he wasn't touching the ball. So I don't know what was going on there. It was like we went away from him a little bit. We started playing a little too much ISO ball. The ball has to keep moving. You start dribbling around against OKC, you get yourself in trouble. You got to keep the ball moving. And we done a little bit too much dribbling in that second quarter and dug ourselves a hole.
Defensively, OKC is good at speeding you up and getting you uncomfortable. And that's what happened in the second quarter to me. We got uncomfortable. After that, after the second quarter, we got comfortable. Well, we was already too far behind. Like I said, we played them even in the second half. You said, we shot 44%, Jay, but that's misleading. We had a bunch of shots there towards the end of the game. Like I said,
I understand how those, but that's what I'm saying. When you're in that desperation mode, it does jack up your percent or that percentage, right? That field goal percentage. And that's what I was trying to get at. Like, if you look at you guys, you've been out rebounded both games.
No. We
rebounded by a lot the first game.
We out rebounded them by a lot the first game.
Okay. I got you.
We out rebounded this game.
Yep.
So let me ask you this. I think the turnovers last night. I know you said turnovers. I think, and you're right, Gonzo. Turnovers did kind of hurt you in game one. Last night, your turnovers weren't too bad. I mean, you got 15 turnovers last night. OKC had 14, so you're pretty much right.
Yeah, last night was better. We were better with the ball.
But let me ask you this:
we had 20 turnovers in the first half, the first game.
Right. Let me ask you this. I want to go back to this comment right here. No, it's not this comment. I apologize. This comment. Basically, if you slow down Halliburton, Pacers not winning, and I can understand his point because game one was actually won on Halliburton's last effort three. We've seen Halliburton, even in New York, when he hit that crazy three to send it into overtime, which he ultimately got the win. So how do you think they come back if and I gotta imagine OKC is going to put a lot of emphasis on Halliburton. How do you come back if Halliburton is not there to give you that extra oomph? You know, who's going to be the guy that steps up to give you playing that cardiac kid element?
We don't need another. Halliburton's going to take he'll take the last shot, just like in game one. Halliburton didn't lead that comeback in the fourth quarter in game one. It was Andrew. Right. It was Andrew Nembhard. It was Neesmith.
Yeah.
Turner hit a big shot. Siakam hit a big shot. Halliburton hit the last shot.
But that's my point. Right?
But that's what I'm saying. So if Halliburton just has to be more. If you watched last night, there was times he was driving to the basket and he had to look to score, but instead he's passing. Sometimes he looks to pass too much. Yeah. But when he's not scoring, it's usually Siakam is the one. Siakam is the one that was the All-Star this year. Halliburton was All-Star last year. Halliburton went All-Star this year because he got off to a slow start in the season. Siakam was our All-Star. He's the one that averaged like 24 points, 25 points a game for us. So our offense a lot of times goes through Siakam, and it's Halliburton facilitating. But I do agree. Halliburton has to look for a shot more. He does. But if he's playing a little slow, we do have guys that usually step up. Last night we dug ourselves too big of a hole. You can't keep getting down that many points and think you're going to come back every time. And in that second quarter, we turned the ball over 4 times in a row. They went on that big run, and then we get it down to about 12 or 13, and then they'd go on another run and get it back up to 17, 18. We couldn't ever get no closer than about 12.
Yeah.
Andy, I want to come back to this. This is another good comment. I mean, honestly, it's a very honest comment. Can the Pacers handle a 7-game series? He says, you think the Pacers can't handle a team like OKC in a 7-game series compared to the Knicks? I mean, that's a big thing because, I mean, obviously, OKC is a much better team than the Knicks, right? They're, the number one team for a reason. Yep. I think what Anthony's saying is how many times can you do the cardiac comeback before the cardiac comeback just doesn't get it done?
But here's the thing, Jay. We haven't won every one of our games with a comeback.
Every series we've won a game, and we've
won one game with a comeback, but we've won other games without coming back. So it's not like that's the only way we can win.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying is when you get the number one defensive team in the league, though, there's only so many times you can do that cardiac comeback. I mean, understand. I mean, OKC is going to play a 448 going on. I don't know that OKC is going to take the gas or take the foot off the gas like they did in game 1. I think they keep the gas on. I really do. As more we go in the finals, I mean, this team is experienced. They understand the game of basketball. I think game 1 they took the foot off the gas and they allowed the Pacers to climb back in that second half. Do you think that that's going to continue to be the case throughout the rest of this series?
No, because what I'm saying is we can lead a game and them have to be the ones to try to come back. We don't have to win every game by a comeback.
We just got to play better.
We haven't played a complete game yet either. So if we play a complete game, we won't have to make a comeback.
Jay, let me see.
We have to play better. They played better last night than we did. It was one game. It's the first to win 4. I'm still confident that we're going to win this series. Just like I said before the series started, Pacers in 6. I didn't think we were going to sweep them. And what did I say that day when I was explaining my strategy? We have to win at least one on the road. We were able to do that. Now we got to come home and protect home court.
Yeah, we got to protect home court. We got to win both these games at home.
And OKC's they're a great team. I'm not taking nothing away from them. That's just how good I feel the Pacers are. I think the Pacers are right there with them. The Pacers deserve to be in the finals, and we lose the series, but I don't think this is going to be all blowouts. They got us last night, but hey, honestly, I think there's a chance that we could beat them by 10 or 15 or more points tomorrow, coming back into the game.
How's it coming with the 8? That's big. No, I'm saying that's to say here, but you're going against the number one defense.
Yeah, we have the number one defense.
You're going against the number one defense in the league. Hold on, you're going against the number one team in defense in the league. Their first win against them in this series is on a 1-point last-second shot. Mm-hmm. And then you get blown out the next one. That's to say you're going to go 10 or 15 when you haven't done that against this team in 2 games.
I didn't say we were going to. I said we have the ability to.
Okay.
We come out and play our best game.
Big.
Yeah, remember, Jay, if we come out and play our best game at home with our crowd going crazy, they got to deal with that just like we had to deal with their building. Our building, our fans aren't no slouches in our building either. Our building gets
I agree. I know you guys aren't no slouches over there. I get that. I do. I 100% get that. I just think, can you get the win on Wednesday? For sure you can. For sure. I just don't think it's going to be a blowout. What I see happening on Wednesday, here's what I say happen on Wednesday. On Wednesday, and yes, John, I know you guys have the number one offense. I don't want to discredit what you guys are doing over there by any means. And I think though, in game 3 is going to be nasty. I got a feeling game 3 is going to be nasty because each one of these teams is going to want to try to get that second win, right? And like you said, if you go down, if you don't get game 3, I think that puts you in a bad spot. I'm not saying you can't come back and get game 4 and eat it up at 2 apiece, but if they go back and win, if the Thunder get back-to-back wins, that's going to put a lot of momentum already on their side. But here's the problem with that. What could be a problem with that for OKC is if they do get Wednesday's game, will they get content being at 2-1 and then not pressuring game 4 and let you guys get back into it? I'm saying that would be one thing that would worry me, because I think OKC does.
And it can also go the other way. Pacers win tomorrow. All the pressures are on Wednesday. If we win game 3, we go up 2-1. All the pressure's on OKC.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. On either side.
Yeah,
Whoever gets that game 2 win, there's big pressure on the other team. Because if you don't and you're down 3-1, that's a bad hole to be in with these 2 caliber of teams and this level of coaching. That's rough. And that's why I really think game 4, I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think it's going to, I wouldn't mind seeing it being a little chippy, to be honest with you, because I think each team is going to want it so badly that I think tempers could flare. I think things could happen.
Yeah, I don't expect a blowout, but perfect example, I didn't expect Minnesota to blow out OKC by 40 points, and they did. I mean, I don't expect that, but I mean, who knows?
What I tell you before the series, I figured all these games was going to be real close games. I don't expect us to blow out, but I also, if we come home and we play a full 48-minute game like we're capable of with the crowd, and we go on a run and go get some momentum going, it could turn into a game just like what they done to us on their home court.
I'm not going to say.
I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying, I mean, that's what happened to us last night. That game, I mean, we were right in that game, and we turned the ball over 4 straight times. That they got on a roll. That building's going crazy, and next thing you know, you're down 20. So we've seen the Pacers do that to Cleveland.
Yep.
I mean, hell, we were up 40 points on Cleveland, who had the second best record in the NBA this year at halftime. And the same thing happened. We went on a big round. So I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I think we win the game. I think it's probably going to be a 5-6 point game. But here's the thing that you got to remember: if the Pacers can keep it close, OKC does not have a good record in close games this year. Yes, they led the league in blowout wins. When a game's been close, they have a losing records in games that are close at the end.
Yeah, they don't play well in those games.
So that's what I mean. If we can play a full game and it's a 4 or 5 point game late in that fourth quarter, I like the Pacers' chances, because Oklahoma City seems to tense up a little bit.
Yeah.
The Pacers don't tense up. That's usually when the Pacers seem to play their best basketball, is the last couple minutes when everything's on.
And I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly what I'm thinking is, you guys have a tendency to put yourselves in situations where you have to keep doing these comebacks, and I just think law of averages, always says, that at some point that's not going to be good.
Yeah, we got to keep the games close. We got to play better. We got to shoot better.
And it really is. That's what I'm saying. Like you guys, I think it's very imperative for you guys to try to get that early lead in that second half, and not try to play come from behind in the second half.
No, that's what that's what I'm saying. We don't want to have to come back.
No, hell no.
We don't want to have to come back in.
That's
What I'm saying is, Jay, I think you're thinking that most of our wins in the playoffs have been comebacks. It ain't been like that.
No.
We've won more games without coming back than we have coming back.
I understand.
We just happen to have them big 4 big comebacks that were crazy. But, I mean, we've won more games without having to come back. And that's what we need to do. We can't be getting down to OKC, think we're going to come back and win every game. No. That's not going to happen.
No.
I'm glad you recognize that, because for a minute
I always recognize that. I just don't think. Yes, I have. I just don't think we're going to be down that many every game in them. I don't expect us to play like that. I don't think. Hell, we wouldn't beat the New York Knicks if we gave them a 25-point lead every game and tried to come back. We wouldn't be in this series. You're not going to beat any team if you're trying to come back from 20 points every game and win. You might get one of those games. You're not going to get all of them.
No.
Oh yeah. You know what I think is interesting though about Halliburton, and I know you guys saw this. Hey, they said the league came out and said specifically in this series that there is no chokehold. You can't go out there and do a Reggie Miller anymore. Have you seen this?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh man, hey, after Halliburton did it, I want to say was it yesterday? I believe I saw it where the league came out and said there's no more that you're not allowed to do the choke symbol anymore.
Why?
They I guess they'd say it promotes violence. Who knows, Gonzo? I don't remember all the verbiage that they used.
You can't do nothing because
what they said it promoted unsportsmanlike. That's what it was. It was unsportsmanlike. So it's unsportsmanlike.
Will just not be allowed to celebrate at all.
Well, I think you can celebrate, but doing this, I think the league said was kind of over the top. I think the league is saying it's over the top. I don't know, guys. I don't make this up. Okay. I just read what they say.
Doing this is over the top, but telling somebody they're too small is okay. But we can't do this. That looks like a gun. Can't do that.
You cannot say bomb in an airport, Gonzo. You can't say bomb in an airport and think it's okay. You can't do it, Gonzo. Look, this ain't 1986 NBA where Reggie Miller did it, and there's no cancer culture and all that.
It wasn't 86.
Well, I'm being facetious, okay? But you know what I'm saying? When Reggie Miller did it, Gonzo, Tony, I'm getting you confused.
So you're okay. Basically, you're proving my point.
No. I get it. Look, did I say? Hey, I didn't say I liked it. I'm just saying that's what the league is saying.
You're proving my point. We've turned soft.
Of course, we turn soft.
Okay. We agree. Let's move on.
Let me tell you what it is. Let me give you an illustration about what has happened. Back in the day, when you took a thing of ice cream out of the refrigerator, it was hard. You had one of those. If you weren't careful, your spoon would bend if you didn't do it right. Remember what I'm talking about? Yep. That's how the NBA used to be. Yep. And then this is how it is now. They take that same hard ice cream out of the refrigerator, they throw it in the microwave for 2 minutes, and they slurp it down with the straw. Yep. That's what it's compared to like these days.
Okay, guys.
Seriously, that's what it is.
I agree. Let's move on, guys. Let's talk a little bit of hockey. We got a big game tonight, Game 3, with Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. Series tied up 1-1. Game 1 went to Edmonton 4-3 in overtime. Game 2 went to Florida Panthers 5-4 in double overtime. Outstanding series, guys. I don't know. I picked Florida, but who the hell knows? They are going to be playing in Florida the next 2 games. So Florida did get one from Edmonton, which they definitely needed to. It's been a great series.
Yeah, I mean, Edmonton. Like I said, Tony, you saw plenty of Edmonton when they were going against Vegas. I saw lots of Edmonton against Dallas. So I think both of us know how defensively tough Edmonton can be. The only weakness I see on this team, honestly, is their goalie, and that's just because he's just not as good as the rest of them. But he doesn't have to be. When you got a defense that plays like Edmonton does, it takes a lot of pressure off of him. And then when you got an offense that can pressure up the ice and keep the ice on the puck on their side of the ice most of the time, yeah, Edmonton is a very difficult team. But then you take Florida, they're no slouch with Bobrovsky. I mean, they got probably arguably the best goalie right now in the league. And, so he does a lot for them. And I think you saw that. And I think I fully expect this game to go, or this series to go 7 games. Every one of these series has been good. And I see a 7-game series, and I see a lot of chippiness in this series.
I agree. I think I think it's going to go 7. Like I said, I did pick Florida, but Edmonton's a dangerous team. I said that going in. I knew that because I've seen them play, like you said, against Vegas, and I've been following them. Florida's the champion, so until you beat the champions, but it's a good series, and it should be a lot of fun. So if people want to check out something tonight, 8 p.m. I think it's 8 p.m. and I believe it's on TNT, but I didn't double check that. Okay, guys.
Real quick. I just want to say one last thing. This is how crazy this series is. Game 1, overtime.
Yep.
Game 2, double overtime. Yep. That's how insanely close these teams are to each other. And if that's not a good illustration of why I see this going 7 games, Gonzo and Tony, I don't know what is. So, yeah. And then tonight, we're going to see tonight. I mean, I expect a very hard-fought game. That's all I had to say.
I agree. Okay, let's move on. Chris, you have any thoughts on this?
No, I mean, I haven't really watched much of it. I've seen some, saw highlights and listened a little bit on the radio and stuff, and it's been a great series. I picked Florida to win before the series started. This Oiler team, when they do get behind, they find a way to get right back in.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So it's going to be a great series. I'm going to stick with Florida, but I didn't get a chance to really watch much of the first two games.
Okay, guys, let's move on.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Florida as well.
Okay, let's move on to NFL. Chris, let's talk a little Colts. Let's talk a little bit about Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson was reported, I think Thursday or Friday, that he's got a shoulder problem. I think a joint problem in his shoulder. What's your take on this?
I'd like to know more information on it. From what I've been able to read, they say it's some soreness. It is the same shoulder that he had the surgery on after his rookie year or during the rookie season. So that worries me a little bit. It'll be interesting to see if he's at because now they have the OTAs and they said he wasn't going to participate in the OTAs, wasn't going to throw. If he's participating in the mini camp when they come back, if he's not throwing then and not a full participant, then I'll be worried more. But I do kind of think it hurts Richardson with this quarterback competition because Jones is all these coaches getting to see Jones every day. So it could hurt Richardson a lot there. It just already worries me. Like we ain't even done anything yet, and now he's already hurt, and we've had injuries every year with him. So it's going to be interesting. But before I get too worried, I want to see if he participates in a mini camp. But I think there's a
he's not there. I think they said he's out for the mini camp.
That was out for the OTAs.
I thought I saw him out for the. Oh, let me go back and read that. He said he's dealing with it. Now this is off ESPN 4 days ago. Head coach Shane Steichen said Thursday that Richardson's shoulder is dealing with an injury and will not participate in the mandatory mini camp from June 10 to the 12th.
Okay. Well,
so at least that part he's not going to be participating.
Yeah,
I'm make mine short and sweet. I think it's going to be the year of Indiana Jones. I think Jones is going to be our starter. And yeah, I'm starting to question Richardson's heart a little bit. I don't know, man. I don't know mentally if he was ever ready to be an NFL player. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he's successful with the Colts. And if he's not successful with the Colts, I hope he ends up being successful somewhere. But he ain't shown me anything yet. I'm just being honest. Jay, your take.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this other article on him, and apparently he aggravated the right shoulder joint, the same shoulder joint that he injured in 2023, and it says that he will be sidelined for an undetermined length of time, according to Shane Steichen on Thursday. Now, you already know he's going to miss the mini camp. Steichen was non-committal when asked whether Richardson would be ready for the start of training camp, which begins on July 22nd. So right now, he's going to miss the mini camp, and he's non-committal about him even starting the training camp. That tells me that he may not even start training camp. So now what does that mean? Okay, so let's say he misses the first part of training camp and comes in at some point in time in the training camp. And that's if he does. Again, we don't know. This is where we are right now. So let's say he does. Let's play that card. That means Daniel Jones, who is going to get a lot of time to work with these wide receivers, work with these coaches, get his reps in, work with his offensive line, all throughout minicamp, and then possibly even into the training camp. We don't know how far that's going to go. So I think Jones has a great opportunity to basically slide Anthony Richardson off to the left and say, and then this is if he does, if Jones goes in and shows out in minicamp, and then goes and shows out at the beginning of training camp, it's going to be really, really hard for a guy coming off of a previously injured right shoulder joint to displace him. That's going to be really, really hard. So for that reason, I cannot imagine in any other circumstance, unless Anthony Richardson just goes into some kind of fountain of knowledge and passing and injury forgiveness, for him to be able to unseat Daniel Jones. I think this is Daniel Jones' team to lead, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity for Jones. Okay, guys. Next up, Aaron Rodgers. I think it was Thursday or Friday. Signed a 1-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Chris, what do you think about this? I know you felt like this was going to happen for a while. What's your take on it?
Yeah, like I said, I figured this was where he's going to be at. He just hadn't signed anything, but I think everybody pretty much knew that he was going to be with the Steelers when the Steelers wasn't going after anybody else. I think it makes the Steelers better. Does it make him a Super Bowl contender? I don't know. Do you think it makes him better? I think he's better than he'll be better than what Russell Wilson or Justin Fields was for him or last year. It'll be interesting to see with the Pittsburgh offensive line. They're pretty strong other than that left tackle. So they need to get their left tackle situated. But other than that, they got a pretty strong offensive line. Got a decent defense. You got DK Metcalf. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think they'll be a playoff team.
Yeah.
I think they were there last year.
That's true.
They were 10-7 last year. I think they'll have a chance to be maybe a 12-win team, but I think they'll at least get to 10, which will probably get you in the playoffs.
I think it depends on the defense stays healthy. Like you said, if the offensive line steps up, Rodgers is not what he was. I mean, he's not going to destroy other teams. But if he gets some help with the offensive line, some defense, running backs, I think he could lead them. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team. They might be a playoff team. Jay, what's your take?
Yeah, here's my thing. A couple of things I think is interesting about Aaron Rodgers. Number one, he was going to go for he declined. Joe Namath offered his number 12 jersey to Rodgers, and Rodgers declined it and said, "No, I don't want to. I can't be Broadway Joe, so I'm not going to do that." So he went with his college number 8. He gets to Pittsburgh. Now, mind you, Joe Namath is offering his number, and he says no. He gets to Pittsburgh, and before he even can get a chance to decline the number 12 jersey, which was worn by none other than Terry freaking Bradshaw, Bradshaw just comes out and immediately says, "This dude's a joke. He can't wear my number. It's a bad move on the Steelers to bring a 41-year-old guy in on a 1-year deal, only to go 10-7 basically, and then leave the team." And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come in. There is no more George Pickens. So now you basically got Metcalf. But that's not a bad thing to have Metcalf. But you got Metcalf, you got Framer as your tight end. And then that's really about it. You don't have a Najee Harris. I forget who their running back is now. I know they probably got somebody over there. I don't think it's whoever they have at running back. I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think they move the needle any more than what they did last year. I think I agree with Gonzo. I think they do exactly what they did last year, and they go 10-7, make the playoffs, and then get bounced. And I think it's just a lateral transition from and I think after that, I think the Steelers move on from that 1 year of Aaron Rodgers thinking for his service. They realize that if Aaron Rodgers can't get better than 10-7, and they got 10-7 with Russell Wilson and everybody else that they've had in there, Trubisky's and all the other couple. If you can't do anything better with Aaron, then they're going to move on to Will Howard. I think Aaron Rodgers comes in on 1 year, 10-7, playoffs, bounced. Done. No more Pittsburgh Steelers. Moves on to either another team or retirement, whatever he does. And then I think next year they're going to move on to Will Howard or take a quarterback in the draft if they don't believe in Will Howard.
Yeah, because I think they're saying that the quarterback draft's going to be better next year. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't looked at the quarterbacks that will be in next year's draft, so I really don't know. But I've heard some experts say that the quarterback draft will be better next year than it was this year. So they would have that option. Okay, guys, let's move on. Next up, Nick Chubb to the Houston Texans. Jay, you're living in that part of the country. What do you think about Chubb going to the Texans?
I think it's a good move on both parts. Did you happen to catch, because I saw that headline too. Did they say what he signed for? Was it
I haven't seen that.
Okay, because I didn't see what they signed him for either. I'd be curious to see how much they actually paid to bring him in. I'd be curious to know that, especially after that injury. How do I feel about it? Chubb does his best, or has done his best work in a quarterback by committee system. And I think it's really important now with that structurally repaired leg that he doesn't have to be the lead back. He just has to be by a committee back. I think it's going to take some of the wear and tear off that leg, probably prolong his career a little bit better, maybe even give him a little bit more juice running the ball. And I think they're going to use him and Mixon in a committee, and Mixon will be your quick, left or right back, and quick cutting back, things like that. And then I think Chubb is going to be your thunder to Mixon's lightning. And I think he'll be used for short yardage, rushes up the middle, things of that nature. So I think it's a good one. I think for the Texans, I think it takes some of the pressure off of CJ Stroud when you got two pretty good running backs behind you. And you got a pretty good wide receiving core, especially since they brought in that second-year Higgins. I think he's going to add a little bit more to that in terms of his route running abilities. And so, yeah, I think bringing Chubb in is a good fit for not only for Nick Chubb, but it's a good fit for the Houston Texans as a whole. And I think that's just a good piece. And they don't have to overspend. They don't have to spend a lot of money, right? Yeah. And I think it's a good pick on both sides.
Chris, what do you think about Chubb going to the Texans?
I think it's a good signing for the Texans, especially if he can be anything like if he gets back to anything like he was before the injury. I mean, that's the question is going to be what can he do with that injury? But I mean, I think it's a smart move by the Texans, and I think it'll be a good fit for Chubb. I mean, you're going to a team that should be. I think will be a little bit better than they were last year. I thought they had a little bit disappointing season last year after what they'd done the year before. I think they could bounce back. It was kind of odd to me that they fired their offensive coordinator during and everything. So like I said, it'll be interesting to see what all happens there. But no, I think it's a good deal for both sides here. Like I said, if the Texans get Nick Chubb that's close to being what he was before the injury, they're getting a hell of a deal.
Jay, I had a question on this for you. Why do you think why didn't Dallas go after him?
Dallas ain't got them. I mean, they've already got a crowded backfield. They went out there and drafted Blue. They got Williams. They got Sanders. They got Deuce Vaughn. I mean, they got 4 running backs right now on their squad, and they don't even know which one out of the 4 is going to get cut. So I think Dallas already had a crowded backfield, and I think their salary cap is already limited. So yeah, I just don't think that it would have been a good fit for Chubb. In terms of trying to get playing time and things like that, it wouldn't have been a good fit for him. And I don't think it would have been a good fit for Dallas because they already have a crowded backfield.
Well, what I'm saying is I think Chubb might have been better than a couple of the other guys that they did take. It just might.
But you don't know, right? I mean, if you asked me about Nick Chubb prior to that leg injury, I would have absolutely 100% agree with you.
I think
I just didn't see enough from Nick Chubb, and I don't think anybody could expect to see enough from Nick Chubb because it was only his first year back from that injury. So I guess what I'm saying is nobody really knows what Chubb is because he's fresh off that mega injury. So I think there's still a lot to be proven there. And I actually saw he signed a 1-year deal with Houston. It doesn't disclose the amount. So I got to imagine it's probably a 1 year at the minimum or just above the minimum on a prove-it deal.
Yeah,
which is good, right? They're going to bring him in. If he pans out, if that injury is okay and he bounces back, and if he can get back to anywhere as close to the form that he was before that injury, then I think he'll get another good contract. It'll be a multi-year contract. So right now, I think Chubb is in a prove-it year that he can bounce back from that injury.
Well, I think probably if he could come back, like you said, it's the second year after the injury. If he could come back 85%, 90%, that would be a pretty good percentage, and he might be able to get a better contract later on. So hopefully good things for Chubb. Next thing up, NFL Packers released Jerry Alexander, the cornerback. Rumors I've read is San Francisco and Miami might be interested in him. Jay, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, how old is Alexander? I guess he's only with Packers for 7 years.
He was a Pro Bowler. They couldn't come to contract agreement.
Yeah, I mean, Packers are always sometimes they're a little stingy with that money. For the 49ers, I mean, I have to go back and look at their backfield. I didn't really look at their backfield. I think he'll be a good addition. I don't know how. I just don't know enough about it to give a good answer on that, honestly.
I know Miami could use him. San Francisco could use him, but they've let a lot of people go. I don't know money-wise where they're at money-wise, and money could be an issue. Chris, what's your take on that?
I mean, he'd be a good pickup for anybody needing a cornerback.
He's a good
corner. He's a good corner. I could see him being a good fit there in San Francisco if San Francisco can work on the deal to get him. I mean, I wouldn't mind the Colts getting him, but they already traded for some guys this year at that position.
Yeah,
actually, right now, I guess there's a chance that we might get that linebacker that the Bengals just released, which is Jermaine Pratt.
really.
Rappaport was talking on the McAfee show earlier. He said he wouldn't be surprised if Pratt ended up a Colt. I like that pickup there. So if that happens,
okay.
But yeah, I could see Alexander going to San Francisco. But I mean, he's a solid corner. So I mean, any team that's looking for a corner is just going to come down to what he's wanting contract wise.
Yeah, it's going to come down to money probably.
You know what's interesting though, real quick is, and I guess I was reading this article on just real quick, and it looks like he had missed half of the games last year or 2 years ago. So for the last 2 years, he's only played in 14 games, is what I'm getting at. So he had, and it looks like he missed the last week of last season with a PCL injury, a torn PCL. So that means he had knee surgery already. Okay. So, and then he came off a year after shoulder and knee injuries, plus a 1-game suspension for conduct detrimental to the team that limited him to 7 games. So I don't know, man. It looks like this guy has some baggage that's going to come along with him. So I don't know. For me personally, I think it's a wait and see, no matter who he signs with, whether it be San Fran or Miami. Obviously, Miami could definitely use some secondary help, but apparently this guy is injury riddled and he's been suspended for a conduct issue. So those two things right there, I got to be honest with you. If he was going to come to the Cowboys, I would be a little bit concerned about. Number one, can he stay on the field? And number two, is he going to be a cancer in the locker room? So I don't know. There's definitely some red flags around Alexander, no matter where he signs. So I'm curious to see how that actually plays out.
Okay, guys. Next, I wanted to touch on just a little bit briefly. It's already over. It happened this past, I think it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I believe. NCAA Women's Softball Championships. Texas defeated Texas Tech. It was a great series. It went all 3 games. Texas pulled out a big victory Texas Tech pulled out a big victory in game 1. Texas come back, got game 2, and then Texas pretty much destroyed Texas Tech. Texas Tech had a pitcher who I think had pitched every game this year. I think she pitched every single game almost, man. That's crazy. Yeah. And
she's got like a 70-something mile an hour pitch. Like this, like she don't. Apparently, this pitcher, I forget her name right offhand, but I remember I watched bits and pieces of some of those games that she pitched in, and that girl has got a cannon for her arm, and her basic philosophy is, "I'm going to blow it past you." Yeah. And see if you can put wood on it or not put wood on it. That seemed to be the way that she was pitching. But 70-something miles an hour, I think that's equivalency of 100-mile-an-hour fastball in baseball. If that puts that in perspective, how fast she's pitching. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces too and kind of followed it a little bit. But I want to ask you, Chris, because you coach some baseball and stuff, would you say that her pitching all those games and then you get down to a final championship game and they end up pounding her, they lost the game. Do you think pitching all those innings could have cost them the? It's easy to say now.
Yeah,
if they would have won the game 1-0, everybody, you wouldn't say that. But
no, I do, because I mean, especially once you get into the tournament, like, because now you're pitching, it's high pressure situations most of the game. You're playing against better competition than what you are during the regular season. For the most part, yeah, you play some of these teams in the regular season, but now you're playing you get in this World Series tournament, the regionals, and then the World Series. You're playing against the best teams every game, and I think throwing that many innings in a row, I think there has to be some kind of fatigue factor that comes in. So I do think it did hurt Texas Tech some, not having that second or third pitcher that the coach trusted. To use and not just use that one pitcher all the time, because there's a reason that major league pitchers don't pitch every day. You know what I mean? Like there's a reason college pitchers don't pitch. I mean, like there's a reason for it. And I know they say it's a different motion, but there's still fatigue on your body.
It had to be.
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah, I think Texas Tech not having that second pitcher that they really trusted, kind of came back to bite them once they got into that final series.
Do you think? Let me ask you a question, because I'm thinking like, if I saw this pitcher every single game, even if and obviously Texas Tech took the if they Texas Tech took the first game, okay, but you got to think fatigue, is definitely a factor. But then the second factor to that as well is they've seen her enough to know, okay, I've seen all these pitches. Now I know I can start hitting them because they've seen it so much that now they're locked in on her. Yep. You know, you can only and I think that's another reason why, outside of the fatigue issue, why you don't in baseball you don't see pitcher after pitcher or same time over and over, because they know people are going to get dialed in on it at some point.
Yep. Yeah. I think I had definitely something to do with it, but they probably wouldn't have got there without her. So it's I guess kind of a catch-22.
The takeaway, guys, is Texas is national champions.
That's true.
Well, and the thing is with Texas Tech, you paid her all that money to get her.
Yes.
That they probably couldn't afford to try to go out and get another good pitcher, because they paid her over $1 million and she's making over $1 million, signed over $1 million NIL deal.
So that NIL money kind of got to, because you got to imagine most of their NIL money is all tied up in either basketball or football or stuff like that. So probably softball, for them to even get $1 million out of that budget was probably killing them.
Yeah, it's big. Okay, guys, let's. I seen Joe on here. We want to talk a little Houston Astros, so we'll get into that.
That's right, it's my boy Joe. What's up?
I just want to go over the standings real quick. The Yankees are winning their division 39-25 is a record. Tigers, best team in baseball right now, according to the record, and that I think that's pretty close, 43-24. And Houston winning their division 36-29. National League, the Mets are 42-24. Cubs are 40-25, and the Dodgers are 39-27. Real quick, a big matchup tonight. The Dodgers play the Padres. Padres are a game back. They start a series tonight. I may watch some of that tonight after I watch Raw. And Chris, real quick, the Reds back up to 500, 33-33, swept the Diamondbacks, so had a good series. I just want to see some consistency. Let's get some consistency going. If we can get that going, I think we'll be okay. So, Jay, let's go to you first. Let's talk. What's besides Houston? I'll let you talk about Houston, but what's standing out to you? What team is standing out to you? And then talk about Houston.
Yeah. On all honesty, man, I still think, well, there's not really too many teams that are standing out to me in a good way, right? I guess in a bad way, the team that stands out to me is the Pirates. And in terms of what it means for a guy like Paul Skeens, right? You know, Paul Skeens did another great game against the Phillies, went 7 2/3 innings with 1 earned run, 2 hits, and like 7 or 8 strikeouts. Games tied at 1 apiece, and they pull Skeens. And then ultimately, I think the Phillies wound up winning that game. So he doesn't get the win. So now he's like 4-6 on the record. But the guy's at a freaking aces and we can Jim. And I feel like I got to imagine at some point Skeens is going to say, or if he hasn't already said it to himself, that I'm done with the Pirates. Like as soon as my contract is up and I can get the hell out of here, you got to imagine he's either going to move on himself or he's going to ask them for a trade to get him the hell out of there. And that I think that's what surprised me about the Pirates is it's like, you got a good player, but you're not doing anything to really support him in terms of bringing other people in or even promoting people from your minor league system that can give you help to give this guy some support. So I guess in a bad way, that's a team that's surprising me. The other team would be the Mariners. And the only reason the Mariners are surprising me right now, and I think if Bo was here, Bo would tell you that it doesn't surprise him that the Mariners are doing exactly what he expects the Mariners to do. Because when we went into the weekend, I think it was Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Friday, we were a half a game behind the Mariners, and then the Mariners go on like a 3 or 4 game slide, and the Astros go on a 3-game winning streak to where, we played a bullpen game yesterday. We lost the bullpen game, but I knew we were going to lose it because Altuve wasn't in there. And then all of a sudden now the Astros are up 2.5 games on them when we were a half game coming in. So I guess the decline of the Mariners before we even get to the All-Star break, them falling back like they have, really is crazy. And the last thing about it, to prove my point on this, is when I looked at the last power standings that was put out by ESPN in baseball, they have the Seattle Mariners, I think, ranked at 8, and they got the Houston Astros ranked at 10, even though we're 2.5 games ahead of them. And the reason they said that they ranked the Seattle Mariners ahead of Houston was because they got 2 of their starting pitchers back, and now they have a healthy rotation. And so for that reason, they actually ranked Seattle ahead of us. And I thought that was crazy, but it is what it is. So those are some of the surprises I've seen that kind of surprised me. The Yankees, the Detroits, and things like that. I expected that.
I'm a little surprised by Detroit. They're better than what I think they are the best team in baseball right now. Whether they will be after 162 games, we'll see. But I'm a little surprised by them. They got a great pitching staff. They're playing really well right now. I'm a little surprised by the Cubs. The Cubs are playing real good baseball. Like I said the other day, they lead the major leagues in scoring innings, like an inning, scoring 4 or more runs. So they definitely can produce runs. So that's always a dangerous team. So them two kind of surprised me. The Reds have surprised me a little bit. I thought we'd be a little bit better right now. I don't think we're playing bad, but we're just not consistent. We got to get consistent. So that's my take. But I did want to ask Chris a question about the Pirates. Do you think the Pirates are going to finally decide to do something and try to pick up some players or develop some players or do something? Or do you think – I don't think they can just let them go. So I know right now they're saying they're not interested in trading. Teams have already acquired. They claim they're not trading them. Don't you think if they're not going to do something, they're going to have to trade them?
Well, the thing is, everybody keeps saying they're not doing it. This is only his second season there.
That's true. That's true.
It ain't like they've had a lot of time to try to put teams or build around them. They had another good pitcher in that Jones as well, so they've been trying to build that pitching staff. And then maybe their guys that they have in the minors aren't panning out, and they're going to have to make some moves. I think they'll try to do something, but the thing is, the Pirates never try. I mean, they've never really did try to do anything. It don't seem like. So,
right.
But I mean, he's probably going to be in Pittsburgh, whether the Pittsburgh gets him good or not. He's probably going to be there at least until whenever his next contract is, which is probably 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
they're going to keep him there, and he's not to be negative, but he wouldn't be the first pitcher that's been putting up real good numbers and been on a team that hasn't built around them and been able and really supported them. I think he'll eventually end up in a bigger market. I would like to see the Pirates try to do something, but it's hard for me to say they will just because that owner never has.
That's true.
But I do feel like, I mean, I feel like they have time to, but they need to do something this offseason and try to make that roster a little better.
Yeah.
I think what hurt them is they got off to a good start at the toward the beginning of the season.
They did last year too.
And they did last year, so they thought, okay, we have something, but then they've gotten off to decent starts and it's just been falling apart.
Any team surprising you? And then talk a little bit about the Reds.
The New York Mets have surprised me a little bit because I honestly didn't think they'd be as good as they are. I know they spend a lot of money and everything. They have a lot of talent, but we saw what they did last year when they spent all that money.
Yeah.
But their pitching has been a little bit better this year than I thought it would be. So I would say the Mets have surprised me a little bit there. And with the Reds, I don't think we're too bad other than like injuries. Like Hunter Green
Hayes
going back on the IL is hurting us. Hayes, we did get Strand back. We're about where I might have thought we'd been a little over 500 right now. But I think as the year goes on, if we can stay healthy, we're going to get better because we just got Francona. He's learning the players, all that stuff. So I think as the year goes on and he gets more comfortable, is getting more comfortable with the players, and the players are getting more comfortable with him, that we're going to keep getting better. We just got to stay healthy. Hayes has to stay healthy. We got Strand, finally got Encarnacion Strand back, and he's hit home runs in like his first 3-4 games back. And we just swept the Diamondbacks, which was a
decent team.
I mean, it was a good series for us. The series for that, I mean, we had chances to win that, to sweep that series or win it, and we blew a couple games. But no, like I said, as long as you're not out of contention that All-Star break, Like you have a chance to make a run. We've seen it. We've seen teams be in last place at the All-Star break and go on and win a World Series. So I mean, we're not in last in our division. We're only like 6.5 games back, I think, of the Cubs.
Yep.
And I mean, we could very easily only be 3 games back of the Cubs because we should have beat. I mean, we had opportunities to beat the Cubs in 2 series in a row, like a week ago.
Yeah, it fell apart.
We
played bad against Milwaukee too.
We had 4 or 5 run leads in both in multiple games in them series and blew it. So
that's another big.
So we have chances. We just have to be more consistent.
We got to play better against our division. We're not playing
well.
Real
quick. I'm gonna tell you right now. You know who the best manager is in baseball? The best manager in baseball is what's his name with Detroit? What's that guy? AJ Hinch. AJ Hinch is the best manager in baseball. I'm gonna tell you why. If you go back to 2014, I think that's if my time frame is correct, it's either 14 or 15, somewhere in there, when the Astros decided to tank and they got rid of every one of their players. They got all these draft picks. That was during the time of the 3 seasons of 100 losses, right? AJ Hinch became the manager. And that guy built up every bit of that Astros baseball team. Now, granted, did they really need to use trash cans? Probably not. I don't know if that was his idea, or if that was other people, other managers, whatever, they came with that idea. But when you look at what he did with the Astros and how he developed that team and what he did with that team from square one, I knew and I hated it. I thought that was the biggest thing for the biggest loss that the Astros took was losing AJ Hinch. You know, it had to happen. I mean, there's no way around it. It had to happen. He had to go. I know that for a fact. But I hated it. I hated seeing the league because I knew he was the best manager in baseball. When he went to Detroit, he took a team that was in last place, pretty much had nothing going for them. Nobody was looking at him. Everybody had washed him away. But when he got there, he did exactly what he did with the Astros. He built that team up from the very bottom of the foundation. And it's no wonder why Detroit is the best record in all of baseball. And everybody thought it was going to be the Dodgers, but it ain't. It ain't. Because I don't care how much damn money you spend on players. A manager that knows how to develop, a manager that knows how to call a game, a manager that knows how to put their players in the right spots, that's the guy that's going to do it for you. And AJ Hinch has proven it not once, but twice now with 2 different teams that he can take a last place, nothing team and put them at the number 1 top of the game. And that's why, Tony, I was telling you, like Detroit, that's no surprise to me. As a matter of fact, it was almost, not only was it not a surprise, it was actually an expectation that they were going to be this good because of how good AJ Hinch is as a manager. And I to this day, I still am so angry that he's not our manager. I really wish he was still our manager. That's what it is.
Okay, guys. Everybody got anything else before we get out of here?
I got a hemorrhoid. I don't know if y'all want to care to hear that. So I guess I don't have anything other than Gonzo looks pretty happy right now.
You got some cream?
Well, yeah. Sometimes Melanie, I guess, got to convince Melanie to apply it. That's all. It's not a big deal. Work it out. It's gonna be okay. Tell you, it's a great day though, man, guys. We got some good baseball today. We're gonna have some great NHL tonight, and then tomorrow we get some great NBA. These next 2 days are gonna be awesome. I love it.
Wednesday NBA.
That's right. Oh, that's right. The next game is on Wednesday, isn't it?
Yep.
Because tomorrow's I guess today and tomorrow's our travel days, whatever. Okay, so Wednesday.
Oh, but then we play Wednesday, but then we play again Friday. So they didn't stick to the 2 days.
No, they get 2 days when you're playing in OKC. You come to Indy, you only get 1 day. What's the fuck?
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. They did. They did. OKC.
It's a conspiracy, Gonzo.
Yep.
You get no respect. I get no respect.
Honestly, I like that there's only. I like that there's only 1 day in between the games. That's personally, but that's not. But yeah, it's changed all of a sudden.
Yeah,
it was 2 games, and now we're doing 1 game and we're in Indy. So
yeah, didn't make any sense.
I just think it's irresponsible.
I agree.
It's irresponsible. That's all there is to it. It's irresponsible.
Everybody have a great day, great night.